Now on CoastTV News.
A new transportation service could take over where trams used to ride along the Boardwalk in Ocean City. What the town has in mind. A lawsuit filed against Sussex County Council.
I'm disappointed.
Why the developers behind a Route 24 shopping center claim Sussex County did not follow its own code.
We have at least one more not so nice chilly morning ahead. After that, a break in the cold.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Christina T. Robertis. We begin tonight with a possible replacement for the Ocean City tram service. You might remember in a tragic accident, a 2-year-old boy was hit and killed by an Ocean City tram back in August 2024. That led the town of Ocean City to permanently ban trams on the boardwalk. But now, as Coast TV reporter Kevin Zappe shows us, the town has a plan for something else to take its place.
Trams are officially a thing of the past in Ocean City, and now the town has come up with an idea to take its place. Pedicabs that are similar to these images. Something Ocean City Mayor Rick Meehan is excited to see.
It's going to be tough to replace the tram as far as volume, but we think this is a step in the right direction.
On Tuesday, the Ocean City Council said staff could move forward with the bidding process to find a single company to operate a boardwalk pedicab system. According to the agenda, the company selected would be required to operate at least 20 pedicabs, with some accommodating for wheelchairs, strollers, or walkers. The town also wants the service to run seasonally each year, from Memorial Day through Labor Day.
We all deserve to enjoy this beautiful boardwalk.
Tom Essela loves walking the boardwalk in Ocean City and likes the idea of a new transportation option for those who can't walk the length of the boardwalk.
There's a lot of people, they miss the tram. There's a lot of older people can't, it's 2 miles. It's over 2 miles from one end to the other, a walk, and fortunately I'm able to walk it, but someday I might not be able to. According to Mayor Meehan, if a company is found in time, you could be seeing pedicabs like these as soon as this summer. I'm Kevin Zappe, Ocean City, Coast TV News.
Well, the recent freezing temperatures from the storms did leave a mark on Delmarva's farmers. Now some counting their losses. Others, though, were able to avoid any major losses on their farms with animals, such as cattle. Coast TV spoke with a beekeeper in Frankfurt who shared losing bees does have real consequences.
I mean, it's not only is it sad and depressing to lose a bee colony, but there is a value behind that. A bee colony is worth about $250 with the potential of making 40 pounds of honey. So you're looking at losing something that's worth a couple $1,000s. This area down here.
And Kerry says bees were the main loss, but his apple, blueberry, and other trees, they're doing okay. Now we're looking live into Milford, and we're going to turn it over to our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams, for a check on the forecast. Paul, is it going to be a nice Valentine's Day?
Well, we are going to warm up over the weekend, but Friday morning is not going to be such a cooperative situation as far as our comfort level is concerned. We'll get into that in just a moment. But right now in Ocean City, we're at 31 degrees. Pretty normal stuff for this time of the year. And it's okay, because now the big story is, hey, when we're normal, everybody's ecstatic now, right? And we'll drop down to 29 degrees under mostly clear skies in Ocean City. Now, here's where everything stands right now. We're no longer under any small craft advisories along the Atlantic side of the Delmarva Peninsula, but we do still have concern for 25-mile-per-hour wind gusts throughout the Chesapeake Bay area. Other than that, take a look at some of the winds that rocked our world today. 32-mile-per-hour wind gusts in Georgetown as well as Salisbury, a 38-mile-per-hour wind gust recorded in Wallops Island. Where we stand right now with our forecast, we're looking for the winds to continue to push out of the northwest, which is why tomorrow morning the wind chill is going to tank so bad. I'll tell you how low we'll go coming up in our next weather segment.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Well, plans for a Costco, Target, and more now being taken to Chancery Court. Today, the developer behind the Atlantic Fields project filed a lawsuit asking a judge to intervene. The lawsuit revolves around Sussex County Council's decision to deny a zone change back on January 13th. That change would have allowed the developer to move forward in the process of building a massive shopping mall. As Brandon Ferguson reports, the developer says the case against the county is strong, but some people who live in the area are hoping the lawsuit does not go through.
73 acres of farmland to be transformed into a shopping mall. That's what developer Ben Hoskins was hoping before Sussex County Council shot his rezoning application down. Hoskins claims the county council's denial was illegal.
When the decision was handed down, one was that the application did not conform with the C4 zoning code, and specifically because it didn't have any residential. Frankly, that's just not true. It's a misreading of the zoning code.
Robert Senor lives in the Belterre community where many neighbors oppose Atlantic Fields, citing traffic and congestion. Senor can't believe the lawsuit.
It's pathetic to have a lawsuit to try to put it where it is right now today. I mean, there's a lot of people in this development that put on a lot of work and effort into trying to make this not happen. And now it looks like it may happen again. So I'm disappointed.
A spokesperson for Sussex County Council declined to comment on the lawsuit.
That was our Brandon Ferguson reporting. Now, developers say the project brings jobs and much-wanted stores to Sussex County like Target. And they are asking the court to void the Sussex County Council's vote and to order a new hearing and a new vote. In Milford, parts of Airport Road and Canterbury Road have been closed for months now as construction of a new traffic circle continues. The circle and some roads were originally set to open back up in just about 3 weeks, but now the city says they're going to need an extension on the project. It is a city project required by DelDOT to improve traffic flow. That's before the multi-million-dollar Milford Corporate Center takes shape. One neighbor we spoke with says she's ready for the project to be over with.
It does seem ongoing, and then it's affected further down. So the detours have been sort of convoluted.
It is important to note here the city says an extension on construction won't change the cost of the project. A long discussed and controversial pedestrian safety ordinance in Dover now one step closer to a final vote. The proposal, which would restrict standing in medians and approaching cars at intersections, was voted out of committee this week in a 7-3 vote. It was first introduced in October, and it had been set for a final reading in January, but was sent back to committee for further review and revisions. Some changes include updated wording, removal of a previous section, and the addition of a severability clause. Supporters say the updates strengthen the ordinance, but opponents continue to question its legality and effectiveness.
This ordinance is an ordinance that really is about compassion for people and protecting people and about the quality of life for the city of Dover. If we get those two things right, we never go wrong.
It's lining up with the state law that actually is being held in legal scrutiny right now. And if the Attorney General is not going to enforce this law, why does the city think that they can create a law pattern behind the same exact law that the state is in court for?
The second and final reading of this ordinance is scheduled for February 23rd in Dover. Now to Salisbury, where there's recently been an increase in water main breaks. Since January 27th, the city has reported 13 separate breaks. The city says cold weather is to blame. Here's a map of the different locations where those water main breaks have been happening. Now, city leaders say only 2 of the breaks shut down water service completely. One of the major disruptions was on Brown Street, but a nearby business owner says the city actually handled the situation pretty well.
I think that they've done an excellent job of keeping us up to date and keeping the water going. I mean, it's hard work, and when it gets cold like that, it's really hard. So the city's done a great job.
So last year there were 18 weather-related water main breaks. So far this year, there have been 14. The FBI increasing the reward to $100,000 for information leading to the recovery of Nancy Guthrie or the arrest and conviction of anyone involved in her disappearance. In the meantime, as Sherelle Hubbard shows us, how investigators are piecing together more clues in the case.
Investigators packed up equipment near Nancy Guthrie's home Thursday on day 12 of the search for the missing 84-year-old. And new tips are flowing in her disappearance. Doorbell camera footage was released earlier in the week of a masked and armed person on her front porch. From that video, the FBI now saying the suspect is male, 5'9" to 5'10", and wearing a black 25-liter Ozark Trail hiker pack backpack.
The height and the backpack are very good clues. And what the FBI will do is they'll start with the realm of the possible. How many of these backpacks were sold, when they were sold?
A white tent was temporarily placed outside the front door of Guthrie's home Thursday, and the sheriff's department says it has discovered multiple gloves in the investigation.
They're going to check this thing every possible scientific way for anything that can bring them to a clue or a person.
Today's show anchor Savannah Guthrie posting a tribute to her mother on social media as she and her siblings desperately hold on to hope for her return. Near her home, yellow ribbons lined trees and sympathizers added flowers to a growing shrine outside. In front of a local news station in Tucson, a banner has been placed reading, "Bring her home." Some neighbors are writing messages of support.
I think we're all just wishing the best for them and praying for a resolution. So praying for, obviously it would be amazing if she were brought back to them.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
And we are just getting started tonight. Coming up, time is ticking in Washington. Funding for the Department of Homeland Security is stalled. Thousands of workers could be left without pay. And Paul Williams has your forecast in just a bit. He's tracking in the CoastTV First Alert Weather Center. But first, lifelong passion turns into a legacy. How one artist's journey is bringing culture and connection to the first state. That's next.
A man from Mexico who's been in the country for about 30 years continues his passion for painting here in the area. For him, it's all about the excitement of getting to see his murals and paintings in the first state. Coast TV News reporter Ana Sofia Roman shows us how it all started.
Gilberto Rodriguez says he started painting when he was 6 years old, something he says he has never stopped doing. Since 2015, he has had this mural at Crusoe's restaurant in Rehoboth Beach.
One of my friends, he was working here, and he said, you know, the people from the restaurant, from the owners, they are looking for somebody to do a mural in the restaurant. And I said, okay, why not? So I love that. So normally, you know, I'm always saying, you know, I'm not doing this just for money, or I have a lot of fun doing it.
Rodriguez says the owners of the restaurant are from Greece, and it took him about a week to bring them a little piece of home.
I was spending, you know, after work, I was spending my nights doing this mural, you know, during nights of 3, 4, 5 hours.
Today, it is exciting for Rodriguez to see the final product.
Sometimes, you know, when you start a mural, you get a picture, but when you're in front of the wall, it's something so different. So I start, you know, mixing the colors, so I talk with the owners. So what do you want to see in the mural? So they said they got water, they got ocean, they got very old buildings.
Rodriguez is excited to continue following his passion.
It's not about the money, it's just about your feelings. And my feelings are just, before I go from this earth, I want to leave something for the next generations of the Latinos in this country.
Leaving a legacy, one painting at a time. For Coastal Connections, I'm Ana Sofia Roman.
So tomorrow morning is going to be uncomfortably cold. Big time uncomfortably cold. But after that, we'll start warming up a little for next week, and most of next week will stay warm again before we take a nosedive yet again. You got to remember, it's still winter time. We want to enjoy spring, but we got to walk our way through winter. Ocean view, 28 degrees. With it staying a little bit on the breezy side, we'll drop down to 28 and 29 degrees and oscillate between the two for the rest of the evening under mostly clear skies. Now, we do have an active small craft advisory for the folks in Oxford, Cambridge, Cornersville, and Madison. That also applies to folks down there towards Chrisfield, but we're going to see that begin to subside. Today we had a high of 38 degrees. 47 is where we're supposed to be. So yeah, we were cooler or colder than norm for this time of the year. But our low was pretty close on the numbers, but it was a little bit a skosh below as well at 29 versus 30. Overnight lows dropping to about 27 degrees. That's an updated run of the models. So it's not going to be quite as cold as it could have been from our earlier model run. But tomorrow we look forward to an abundance of sunshine. Not all that warm. like I said, a very cold, uncomfortable start to Friday. But we'll end up in the mid to upper 30s, generally speaking, most of the beaches, and we'll have the winds pushing out of the northwest between, let's say, 16 to up to like 20 mile per hour, gust occasionally at 25. But when we play the averages, hey, after we get past Friday, we stay above the average high for like 4 to 5 days in a row before we start feeling like winter once again. So let's enjoy it while we have access to it. So Friday morning, we start off in the mid to upper 20s. And then the temperatures will climb to the mid 30s by the afternoon. Saturday's going to be a little better because we'll click over to near 50 degrees in most areas. And then Sunday is going to be chilly. But the winds pushing out of the northwest, well, that's going to be the nuisance continuously. About 22 to 23 miles per hour for Friday, and then for Saturday, it'll change directions out of the southwest, and that's the difference maker. That's going to break the mold and change the pattern. But remember, Friday morning is not going to be all that great because here's what's going to feel like. The wind chill will be 14, 15, and 16 degrees tomorrow morning. 14, 15, 16 degrees tomorrow morning. And then we'll warm up. Some folks are trying to tell me that I promised them we'll be warm. No, not until we get to the weekend. But we'll watch out for a chance of rain developing Sunday going into Monday. Just be mindful of that. Finally, here's a look at your 7-day forecast. And like we said, we're going to warm up pretty nicely by the time we get past Friday. We're going to be A-OK for Valentine's Day and even for President's Day. And then Tuesday, we'll peak at about 58. I think we'll adjust that to near 60. But then the other days will still fall into the 50s. But remember, that's still above that 47 norm for this time of the year.
All right, we'll take it. Thanks, Paul. The Department of Homeland Security out of time. Democratic senators blocked a funding bill for it on Thursday, and all government agencies have been fully funded through September, but money for DHS got held up. That's after Democrats demanded reforms in its immigration enforcement operations. Nearly all DHS workers will remain on the job, but many will not get paid until Congress passes a funding bill. Agencies like FEMA, the TSA, and the Coast Guard will also be impacted. The deadline to fund DHS is actually tomorrow night, but Congress is off all next week for the President's Day holiday. Meanwhile, the intensified ICE operation in Minneapolis is ending. As Brian Abel reports, border czar Tom Homan announcing today the drawdown of immigration officers in Minnesota is underway.
I have proposed, and President Trump has concurred, that this surge operation conclude.
The federal immigration crackdown in Minnesota coming to an end, as U.S. border czar Tom Homan announces agents are leaving the state.
A significant drawdown has already been underway this week.
The aggressive surge that began in December, called the largest immigration operation ever by DHS, was met with fierce criticism and resistance by Minnesotans almost instantaneously, with clashes between protesters and agents in Minneapolis and residents becoming observers, filming immigration enforcement actions in real time, leading to the first major flashpoint: the killing of Renee Good by an ICE agent. Her death sparking at times violent confrontations between protesters and federal agents. Tensions exacerbated by a second U.S. civilian killed in Minneapolis by a federal agent, Alex Preddy. The deaths upping pressure on the White House to end the operation as protesters mobilized and Democratic lawmakers threatened to withhold DHS funding unless ICE reforms happen. The Minnesota AG saying this about the crackdown to senators on Capitol Hill the day Homan announced the end of the enforcement operation.
The surge is contributing to violent crime, members. It's contributing to violent crime. 2 of the 3 homicides committed in Minneapolis in 2026 have come at the hands of federal immigration agents.
In Washington, Brian Abel reporting.
Coming up in sports tonight, the Eagles lose a key assistant coach. Now there's a big question on offense. The Delmarva Sports Network breaks down the hole Philly has to fill. And coming up, 500,000 World Cup visitors will soon be headed to the Philly region. Why state leaders in Delaware say they're ready to cash in.
And remember, we have a very uncomfortable start to Friday, but we'll rebound with sunshine with the mid-30s, but then we'll climb above the norm over the rest of the weekend.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
500,000 domestic and international visitors are expected to descend upon the Philadelphia area for the FIFA World Cup matches this summer. But it seems there are not enough hotels to handle them. So this is creating a massive opportunity for the state of Delaware. And today, leaders announced plans to maximize the first state's role in the World Cup and get fans and small businesses involved. Reporter Tim Furlong has the story.
This will bring people to our state from the world.
Delaware Governor Matt Meyer telling this crowd of business and civic leaders it is go time. Delaware is going to be part of the Philly World Cup story. 500,000 people are coming to the area in June, and 70% of them don't even have tickets to the matches.
They're going to need places to stay. They're going to want places to go out, have a good time. We know that northern Delaware, maybe even central Delaware, and maybe even if they want to go to the beach, southern Delaware is an option. We think it's going to be huge.
People are going to be coming into the state and planning their trips now. We've already gotten a lot of hotels letting us know that people are booking their trips and making their reservations as we speak.
One team will actually be staying in Delaware and training at the Unions Complex in Chester. The estimate is that for the Philly region, the World Cup is going to generate $770 million. They say the average international travelers will be staying in the states for 21 to 24 days. State tourism leaders say small businesses need to start figuring out the role they can play in all this, and they should start targeting marketing to potential guests soon. At this event, we also learned about watch parties all of us in Delaware can take part in up and down the state. On June 12th, the USA-Paraguay match is going to be shown inside the Bob Carpenter Center here at the University of Delaware. On June 20th, a match is going to be shown at Hudson Fields down in Sussex County. On the 26th, Uruguay versus Spain is going to be shown at the State Fairgrounds in Kent County. And on July 19th, you can come here to the University of Delaware. They're going to show the World Cup final on a massive screen here at the football stadium. On May 19th, there's also going to be a pep rally at the DE Turf Complex just south of Dover. The Philly Host Committee leaders say Delaware is the perfect home base for so many people who will be here for games in Philly and even in North Jersey.
It's a small wonder of a state in terms of where it's situated, and we want to make sure that Delaware it benefits from this just as much as the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the state of New Jersey will by being host states.
In Wilmington, Tim Furlong, WRDE Coast TV News.
The Olympics are in full swing, only here on Coast TV, and we're going to take a look now at the medal count. Looks like Italy is actually now in the lead. They've got 6 gold medals, 3 silver, 8 bronze, 17 total. And Norway has 7 gold, 2 silver, 5 bronze, so 14 total. The USA, we've also got 14 total. That's 4 gold, 7 silver, and 3 bronze. And we're going to go to our Coast TV poll now. With the Olympics on, we're asking, what is your favorite Winter Olympic sport? Let's look at the results. Definitely some mixed answers. 39%, most people saying figure skating. 16% snowboarding or skiing. 9% like the hockey. 16% say bobsled. That one's fun. 20% say curling. And we also have a comment tonight. This is from Ed in Long Neck. He says, considering it's a short tournament, each game in Olympic hockey is like an NHL playoff game, making it that much more must-see TV. Thank you, Ed, for the comment. You can leave your own comment or you can still vote. Let us know your favorite sport. Just go to coasttv.com or use our mobile app. And don't forget, the Winter Olympics continue until February 22nd, only here on Coast TV. But if you're missing Jeopardy, you can still watch it. You just have to go over to our sister station, Fox 21. You can watch Jeopardy at its regular time, 7:30 p.m. It's the same show, the same time, just a different channel while the Winter Games are on.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
On the gridiron, the Eagles lost another assistant. Former offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo was poached by the Dolphins to be their new passing game coordinator, which probably sounds like good news to Philly fans. Because in Patullo's one season calling the shots for the Philly offense, replacing Kellen Moore, who ended up taking the head coaching job with the New Orleans Saints the season prior, it was not a great run of success under Patullo. In most major categories this season, the Eagles ranked mediocre. 24th in total offense, 23rd in passing, 24th on both first and third down, and then most importantly, 24th in scoring. However, the man who broke the news of Patullo's departure, Mike Garafolo, says Philly fans lost an asset.
If you think that this guy was not a reason why you've had such incredible success under Nick Sirianni, you are sadly mistaken. He was a pass game coordinator 2 years ago, the role that he's going to be filling with the Dolphins when this team won the Super Bowl. He has also been a trusted advisor and sort of a pseudo head coach for Sirianni that he's known for quite some time and helped him with a lot of the head coaching mechanisms there. This team, the Eagles, did not fire him.
Garafolo is right. According to his reporting, the Eagles offered Patullo a different spot on Coach Sirianni's staff that was an offensive coordinator. But if you remember, his house was egged in the middle of last season. Seems like he needed a fresh start. Have a great night, Delmarva.
Oh, sorry. The guys were telling me, go. All right, I'm going. Ocean City, 31 degrees, actually. We'll drop down to 28 under mostly clear skies. Small craft advisory is activated for us in the Cambridge area. Also applies down towards Crisfield, watching out for 25-mile-per-hour winds. Our umbrella giveaway winner is Jennifer Wegling of Ocean View. Congratulations. Keep up with your forecast by calling our number, and here's a look at your 10-day forecast.
Thank you again, Paul, and thanks for joining us for Coast TV News at 11. You can find more news and weather. Just download our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show is up next.